Hi, welcome to today's Sports Pavilion meeting, Tuesday, November 8th. We're going to begin. I will call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. We just have one of our members absent. We will go forward with the minutes from October 11th. If there are no changes or corrections, the minutes will be entered as written. No? Okay, super. Karen, we're good to go? You're good to go. Great, thank you. So we'll move on with 3.01 with Barry, our Sports Pavilion manager, and our member that I thought was absent has walked in the door, so welcome, Jeff. And Barry, it's all you.
Okay, October 2022 compared to October 2021. Excuse my voice. League bowling was $56,051. Last year was $59,141. And the reason for the negativity is that we had a power outage of water, so we had to shut down for a day. And so we had to cancel all the leagues. So that'll be made up mostly in December, so we'll see some higher numbers in December. Open bowling, 11,924 versus 9,978, so we were up a little over $2,000. Miscellaneous revenue, 9,092 versus 2019. We're up $6,000. That had to do with mostly locker rental. Total bowling revenue, 77,067. And the versus 71,838. It's an increase of 5,229. Food and beverage, 16,143 versus 12,478. So that's a positive 3,665. Miscellaneous non-bowling, 5,590 versus 9,251. So that's a negative 3,661. Grand total bowling, 98,800. Grand total bowling last year, 93,567. So we were up $5,233. And games bowled, we bowled 27,212 for the month versus 25,321, which is an increase of 1,891 games. So that's it.
Great.
Any questions?
Thank you, Barry. I do have a question. I think Pete and I talked, and do you want to ask the question that we discussed, or do you want me to ask? So after last month's meeting, this question came up, and I apologize that we didn't ask it then, but the question came to light in having to do with Wii bowling. There was some discrepancy in a previous meeting. It was stated that the Wii bowling did not bring in any revenue, that the money that was paid was just among themselves for their league. And then in the meeting last month, the discrepancy, you had said that discrepancy, the difference we had for the negative was due to the Wii bowling. So we were confused so maybe you can just help Pete and I not be confused.
That's pretty hard to do.
I know.
The confusion is last month we weren't into performing so we had no revenue, and last year we had revenue. So that was the big Bill Warren passed away.
Right.
And we just started last week, I think it was. Now, as far as the fees go, they pay $2.50 a week. Mm-hmm. That goes to us.
Okay.
They do pay a cost for a banquet and prize money. That's collected at the beginning of their session, and they collect $25 for that. But they do pay on a weekly basis.
Okay. So the $2.50 they pay, that does come to the rec center?
Yes.
Okay. So I think, was that the question? Why is Wii Bowling paying? And the question has always stood, why does Wii Bowling pay the $250 and darts? We're not charging darts. So I think we had that discussion or pool. So I don't know, Barry, you can maybe shed some light on that? How that
I
whole
don't
thing
know. I
started?
inherited we.
Okay.
That used to be played under, what was his name? Where Jack had, it was in Jack's area, but Jack wasn't there. Down by where the ping pong is and everything like that. So when they form they just automatically start charging them. And I just assumed that when they came up to the bowling center. And we did have to make some, major purchases on the equipment and things like that. But they've always paid since day one.
Okay.
There was no question, no any disagreements among we that would not agree to pay. So we just continue to charge.
I've never heard any complaints from them, so. Oh. Okay. Do you want the question raised, Pete? I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. So I'll talk to Tim I'll mention it to Tim and we'll, I think, Karen, is that something that this committee, that we need to get consensus on in order to discuss that, move it forward to the governing board for you, or?
Right, if you want your next steps to be that you've reached consensus that you talk to Tim about it, you take that approach, or if you want to make a recommendation to the board, I mean, I suggest the former, because there are questions that
Okay.
have to be answered, and then you can bring that back to the
Okay, so I think at this point, I'll talk to Tim, and then however Tim wants me to move forward with it, if it comes back to the committee, and then we'll put it as an agenda item and move forward with it from there.
just get consensus.
And get consensus from the committee, okay? Okay, perfect. Any other questions from the committee for Barry?
Barry, I have a couple questions, if I may ask. Jim and I and our wives have gone to the Lizard Acres.
Nope, that's,
Oh, is it
Lizard
down?
Acres is further down.
Okay, never mind.
4.03, sorry. We'll just stay with this for now. Lizard Acres later, thank you, Ron. Okay, so if there aren't any other, we'll move on to Pete Finelli, our CFO for the Sports Pavilion P&L.
Thank you, Lisa. So for the YouTube, the financials are there. Anybody wants to look at it, they can freeze the frame and look at that. So if you'd be moved to the presentation, yeah, thank you. So this actually will go pretty fast because you're going to see, to a large degree, we're within a very, very narrow bandwidth. On September, I'm going to actually, with your blessing, I'm going to just move to year to date. So September 3 months, 20,000 ahead on bowling revenue. Against prior year, virtually neutral, as I think Barry was alluding to. We had closures last year, and now add in that 1 day of closure and everything, but against prior year, neutral. Now, that makes a little bit of sense because we did put some bowling lineage fee increases in, so the down in lineage is being made up for on the rates. And a real quick snapshot of the changes. Can you slide that up? Just thank you. Barry, maybe I'd even ask you to render any advisement on this. These are pretty small dollars, but do you know of any reason promotional seems to have been the bigger decline? If you don't know, and I'm hitting you on the spot here, then I apologize. Well, in our general ledger, that's how it's coded, so I was hoping you'd know. So.
The biggest increase we had in promotional was our open bowling special for the summer, where we charge $35 flat fee, and then every time they bowl, their price per game is $1.35. That was huge this year.
You're not going to like this, but we're actually down against prior year. So I guess it's what has gone a little bit. Well, if with the blessing, I'll do a little more
And
research
then
on this.
non-resident fee, so far we've collected over 700 fees, so that's a
Gotcha.
sizable amount of money.
In our general ledger, this is how they're coded. So it may not be the lexicon that he's used to. And I could see you don't see promotional as a line item on his. So Barry and I will do a little bit more work on this for future months. So I'm not putting them on the spot. This is something I brought out off the general ledger. So
Pete, if I may, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time we're seeing promotional on your sheet.
it could be
Right.
either that or it was such a minor change that it seemed to accelerate this year. It's the most notable of all 5, but sadly I should have been more informed, and I will make that effort with our next month.
Okay.
But like I said, I'm going back one. Overall, we are neutral against prior year. So moving to the expense side, pretty quiet. You know, we're virtually within a $10,000 on after 3 months on the expense side. Against prior year, similar kind of thing. Actually, a little bit up, but that wouldn't surprise me with the wage adjustments that we did. So overall, on a year-to-date basis, the budget called for a $60,000 loss through 3 months against a budget of $70,000, so we're about $10,000 ahead. And against prior year, just like I said, neutral on revenue, up a little on expenses, so we're about 10,000, so to speak, worse. But I just remind us that last year, I remember the closure for the annual, cleaning of the facilities, oiling, and all the stuff you do for 2 weeks or longer. That occurred in the spring, and this year we hit it in the summer, which means this fiscal year. So, and there's the same kind of thing that he was referencing. We are down in lineage, but closures, and you'd expect our fees per line to be up with the rate hike, and that's demonstrating it. So golf has some pretty high variables, like outside play can really move the needle. You have a similar one with open play, public play, and if you get more of that, then it would influence it onto the higher end. But this, I think, is driven more by just the rate hike. So pretty benign update. It's actually good. We always like to be no surprises.
Right.
And any questions, I guess?
Are there any questions for Pete?
Yeah, I'll get the answers next time. Sorry about that.
That's good. No, that's great. Thank you. Before we move on to the next agenda item, I would like to say, just for the YouTube video, for anybody that might be watching at home, that I'm not going to audience comments because we have no audience. Just so I don't want anybody to think that I'm ignoring the audience. And with that, we'll move on to 4.01, the committee goals. And we talked about, we brought this up last month. Did anybody have anything? And nobody really had anything, but then I did receive a couple of emails from a couple of, one or two of our committee members, and I asked them to please go ahead and bring them forward at this meeting because they were some really valuable ideas. So Ron Ryman has a couple of ideas. So we're going to put Ron on the spot here for committee goals. And for any other committee members, if you have anything, if this sheds some light, please feel free to jump in.
Barry and everybody that in committee, it really kind of pertains to my thoughts are to Lizard Acres, which is doing real well, and we're pleased to see that happen. But in going there during one of the functions with music, which was great, I think it was that the jazz or blues one, which was really super. What we noticed sitting there, we were not too far from the bar area. is that when the music's not playing, and I don't know if there's an answer to this one, but the noise factor in there is really high when you have that many people in there. And you have nothing but hardcore walls and flooring that it's almost like you have to talk at a very high level in order to communicate. And I don't know if there's anything that can be proposed or done about trying to improve that a little bit. A lot of it has with sound deadening off of walls or something hanging from the ceilings type of thing. I've seen that before. But it's just a suggestion that is one issue that we noticed.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Yeah. Another thing is you seem to have quite a quite a mixture of furniture in there at this point in time. And I don't know if that's where the committee should be planning to put together something with your help as far as updating some of that equipment or furniture, so it's not quite just the tables that they use out at the golf course. Excuse me, I got the same frog you do. So that's another issue that had to do with just that, and I don't know if you can do a real lot with the layout. I mean, you're pretty well packing people in there pretty good. But that was another thing. And I think the one big issue that we seemed to watch when we were there, the bar, you had 2 people working there, which was great, but the line continued to grow out into the flooring for them trying to serve the people. And I don't have an answer, but I know that was a continuous thing all night long. Yeah, even with 2 bartenders in there working. So I don't know what can be done, if it's a figuration or it's something else we have to come up with or what.
Yeah, it is just so small back there.
Yeah,
You know, we only have 1 register, which really slows it down.
yeah.
And there's no room for another register. We're maxed out space-wise.
Is there any reason that the committee couldn't think about this in the future as to maybe a proposal, what could do to help you? I mean,
We have to be, go for it.
yeah,
Same with furniture, with no capital money,
yeah,
I couldn't spend a lot. So, I did buy some tables and chairs from Amazon, tried to build up, because we were stealing for the bowlers and they were complaining, and,
yeah,
good situation.
yeah.
So it's again, you propose and go through the channels and get some money
Yeah.
to buy furniture, sure.
Okay. I still have one more, maybe 2. I'm only telling you this because my wife and her girlfriends have brought this subject up more than once. They would like to see you put in some full bottle white wines, more than you have, versus those little dinky bottles that you have back there. If you can do that at all possible, they feel the quality of the wine is not quite what they're used to. Yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out there. No, they're not high end, but it's, a $10 bottle of wine or something like that even, but that's,
Well, our white wine right now, it costs me $14.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, the little bottles are what they really don't care much about, those little ones that you got.
But we have, not to disagree,
No,
we have 3 different types of red that we pour.
yep,
Top shelf,
right,
medium shelf. And we also have 2 white wines
okay.
that we pour.
Barry, we need you to speak more into your mic.
Top shelf, bottom shelf.
Thank you.
So if you give me some type of what they would like,
Okay.
and then I'll look into it.
Yeah, we can.
Because most people don't want, they don't want to pay more than $5 a glass.
Well, and that's true, and I mean, the price is great.
That's
I mean,
excellent.
I mean, it's just that I guess it's a variety of white wine that seems to be the issue, more than the price, that's not it so much.
Yeah, we're locked in here. Even with 2 coolers, we're locked in
Okay,
for space.
yeah, all
So,
right. Let's see
But
what
I'll
we can do.
try.
Yeah, we'll see, I'll see if I can give you a couple of suggestions of what they're thinking about, and they're not high-level wines, I mean, you're talking a $10 bottle of wine in many cases.
Okay.
Okay,
How many pours do you get out of a bottle of wine? 3, 4?
4, 3 to 4. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you don't get a lot, I know that.
No, we like to be generous in our pours, and as long as, again, as long as we're making a couple bucks on the back end, we're fine.
Yeah.
We're not looking to make a high profit.
Good.
So,
has there been any more talk with the restaurant group, as far as doing something there differently than it is, or?
well, excuse me. They open one more night. They're opening Wednesday nights now for the lounge, but I don't see that working. people just don't frequent that place at night.
Thank you.
Okay.
Barry, the question I have is, I know you had turned in a capital improvement projects
Yes.
list. Was furniture on there?
From what?
Was furniture on there?
No, it wasn't.
No, okay. So I don't, perhaps that is something that we can look into
Yes,
for you if you would like us to.
absolutely.
Okay, great. So maybe we'll make that one of the committee goals. And I see Pete's nodding over there, so maybe Pete will help us. We're coming under a crunch here. This is going to be kind of a rough 23, 24 anyways. We've been having this discussion up and down as far as looking at all the capital improvement projects.
You know, you can give me a rough idea of what you're talking about, like for furniture, just spitball it.
I would think you're looking at about $6,000.
Yeah, see, so I assume almost every one of you here are owner members, and we always want to spend your money judiciously, but the Lizard Acres, his point a few seconds ago, isn't a designed profit center, but our markups, generally speaking, have produced several $1,000 margins that you all benefit by infusing a positive contribution to the bottom line. Even if it was $2,000 a month, that's 24 grand. And if you were any business, you'd be saying, would I invest $6,000 to keep that revenue stream? It's close to a no-brainer.
Right.
If you're all shaking your head saying we want to spruce up, this is the perfect place
Right.
to do that. And allowances exist for that purpose. Unexpected changes. It's not a lock solid budget if you want to wait till July 1 of next year and incorporated a levy from the allowances and say, this committee recommended it. That's your purpose, is to say, let the finance or the governing board make that decision. I just would never shy away from expressing your desire. That's what is really your committee is designed to do, recommend.
Great. Thank you, Pete. So I am, with that information, I am going to ask the committee for consensus to make that one of our goals, to work with Barry, and we'll try to move that forward and make that a line item for capital improvement, and I'll talk to Carl, and we'll get that added to the budget if this committee is all in consensus to move that forward to the governing board for approximately $6,000 for furniture for Lizard Acres. I just need consensus. Nods of heads is good. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Karen, are we good?
I'm good.
Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you, Pete. Unfortunately, Barry, the noise level and working on that, and the bar service and the wine, that will all fall on you. Right. I'm sorry. You'll let me know if I can help you out with that, but
The noise level, one, you're getting noise from the bowling center.
Right.
It echoes in. We would have to redo all the walls, I guess, unless we bought curtains, the soundproof curtains and put in there.
interesting.
I guess we could take a look at that. But that would be a capital
Expense.
issue too.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what we could do with the walls. I mean,
Well, I know we've, in past, and company I worked for, we used a product that went on the walls that wasn't curtains. It was like a sound deadening product that design-wise it went on the walls. And then that reduced the sound blasting all over the place somewhat anyway. It does help. That's the only thing I was thinking of, something like that, if we could come up with a plan.
Unfortunately, that one row, that one bank of wall is all window, right, between the bowling alley and so, yeah, so, all right.
This would be solely for my clarification.
Mhm.
Is your noise the members interacting with each other, or is it the audience or the performers? So I have
think-
no idea on what the amps are going to do, but that's the sound system. Is that going to, improve it or make it more? I'm just asking because we're putting that in.
The sound system's gonna improve it. It's gonna help because now the bands have to turn their equipment way up to get to the back of the room. And my proposal is to put 3 speakers in,
Beautiful.
and that would really cut them down the volume. So it will definitely help that.
And if you're not familiar with that, it's in our FY24 budget. It's gotten to every committee's passed it so far. So.
Yeah, where we,
So give me 1 second. So let me go ahead and say we're rolling into 4.02, and because with this coming up, we're going to go ahead and we'll roll into 4.02 because that way Barry can go ahead and talk about what Pete is mentioning is the line item on the agenda for the Sports Pavilion Bowl. No, I'm sorry. My apology. 404. Thank you, Karen. 404. We'll skip to 404 since Pete brought it up, and it is important. It's a capital improvement project which has been added to our agenda. The capital improvement projects have to be moved by consensus from the committees forwarded to the governing board. And for our committee, it's this one specifically, which is a $21,000 sound system that Barry is asking for. And I'm going to let Barry go ahead and explain it. I think he can do a better job probably than I can since he's been working on it.
Yeah, all we're looking for is a new video box and 3 speakers, and to wire them internally. So, but that'll be done by professional, whatever they recommend. Last time I got a bid on that was $19,000. So we're just trying to simplify things and make it better. That box that we're currently using is probably 20 years old, and any day now it's going to go. So we're looking to make a little modern, a little advantages there where the some of the bands can plug in actually there and then play off our speakers. That's the biggest goal, to allow them to play off our speakers.
Super. Are there any questions the committee might have for Barry regarding this? So if there aren't any questions, we just need, again, just nod of a head by consensus. We can move this forward to the governing board with our approval. Great. This will be a wonderful addition for the Lizard Acres and hopefully help with some of that. I know that the flip side is, and I think, Pete, where you were going with this, the acoustics in there are not very good. So I think this will help with that a lot. And I think that's a wonderful. So if there's no more discussion on that, we will go back to 4.02, which is the review of the bowling policy B.02. And that is, Joe, you were tasked with reviewing that, and
I was, and I read it top to bottom, and I see no reason to make any changes.
super, thank you. Now, do any of the other committee members have any suggestions or changes to this that they have? No? And Barry, was there anything that you wanted changed on this policy? No? Okay, so this policy, no recommendation to the governing board. It will stand as is. Give me 1 second, since I kind of got my papers out of order. I think we kind of covered the Lizard Acres update with everything else, unless anybody has anything else that they want to ask Barry regarding Lizard Acres. But I think we pretty well covered that 4.03.
I'd like to ask
what do we pay our entertainment, such as Elvis?
All the entertainment's paid $300
Because I went last Friday and I thought it was awful. That's just my opinion.
What didn't you like about it?
Everything I did.
And who did we have last Friday? Was it Elvis or, oh, okay. Wow, and that's unusual because the last time we had him, he got rave reviews. So, that's, the question I have, Barry, is, so the Friday nights, now having moved the music from Wednesday to Friday nights, is that proving to be very profitable for Lizard Acres?
And actually, it's pretty much the same. We haven't lost anything and haven't gained much either. But we can only do so much because the occupancy. So we pretty much max out every Friday. So it's been really popular, and we get a lot of good feedback. We get some negative feedback, but all in all, it's a nice evening out for most people, and it doesn't break your bank. So it's good.
Okay. And we'll move on to 5.01, committee comments in general from the committee on anything. Anybody have anything? Joe? No. You are shocking me. So I'm gonna, no, any live guest comments? No? Okay, that's wonderful. So with that behind us, I would like to share that I think we're going to take the month of December off and bypass our meeting. So I'd like to say happy holidays to everybody, and we will see you back after the first of the year. That'll be January 10th, 2023. And have a wonderful holiday, everybody. Thank you so much.